math, we're very familiar with using bar graphs to represent data. So today we're going to combine that with our science lesson on weather and different weather conditions, and we're going to graph that data so we can see it visually. So before we start graphing, let's get some background knowledge of weather. Can someone give me a typical weather condition for any of the 4 seasons we see up on our board? Lauren?
Summer is hot.
Great, summer is hot. That's a good one. Leah or Alyssa, do you have anything different?
Fall is chilly.
Chilly, nice.
I think winter is cold.
Yes, definitely cold. And spring is pretty mild. What type of weather is your favorite? If you had to choose. Oh, Leah.
Spring is my favorite weather.
Okay, so spring may be your favorite season, but your favorite weather would be a condition. So maybe it's, do you like sunny or rainy?
Sunny.
Sunny, okay. So maybe we can put, I think sunny can go in both summer and spring. And if we had to guess an average, to add some numbers to this, if we had to guess an average temperature range for each of these 4 seasons, what do we think it would be around for, let's say, we'll start with winter?
20 degrees.
20 degrees, maybe? Okay. Any guesses or predictions for like an average spring temperature?
60.
Sounds good. Okay. What about summer? Nice and hot.
80.
80, okay. And notice I'm putting degrees Fahrenheit, that's our unit of measurement. And what about fall?
50.
50 degrees sounds about right. Okay. So those were good predictions. I'm going to now give you some average temperatures in our winter months. So winter spans from the end of December through the end of March. So that's why I included, sometimes we associate March with spring, but it is mostly in the winter time. So an average temperature actually for December is around 45 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a little bit warmer than we thought. January is our coldest month with an average temperature of 32 degrees Fahrenheit. February is just slightly warmer, 35 degrees Fahrenheit. And March is about 48 degrees Fahrenheit. So now that we know these average temperatures for our winter months, we're going to graph this data and see what that graph can show us. It might make certain patterns more clear. So when we're drawing a graph, it's super important to remember the different parts of our graph. Can't reach. And we're just going to refresh our memory about the parts of the graph to see what we remembered. So if I put this here, average winter temperature in New Jersey, because that is our region, what would this be? What would we call this? Alyssa?
The title.
Right, our graph's title. And that's going to tell us what our graph is showing us, and it's going to give us a little bit of a description. And then we have 2 important axes on our graph. We have one that runs horizontally and one that runs vertically. Who can tell me what this axis is called? Lauren?
The x-axis.
Right. And what would make this one be, Leah?
The y-axis.
Exactly. And on our y-axis, we always mark normally with numbers when we're graphing. So, for example, the numbers that we're dealing with are temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to go by tens. So we're going to say 10, 20, 30, 40. And this makes it easier to graph instead of going by ones, because then our graph would be super tall. So we also have 4 different months that we're graphing. So what would our first data point be on the x-axis? Which month? Lauren?
December.
Right, December. What would be next, Leah?
January.
And Alyssa?
February.
I'm going to abbreviate. Yep, and our last one would be March. Okay, so now I'm going to put a label on our y-axis because these numbers are important, but if we don't know what unit So this is temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit. So that's our y-axis title, and these are our, what season are these months a part of?
Winter.
Winter, so we're gonna say winter months. Okay, now we're going to come up one by one and graph our average temperatures. So if Lauren could come on up and graph for us December's average temperature. And you're using bar graphs, so make sure it's a bar. You don't have to shade it in completely. Good, so Lauren shaded it right in between 40 and 50 because it's 45. Great. Leah, do you want to come up and do January? Great. Yeah, and we have our temperatures here. Good job. So I noticed she did it right above the 30 degrees line because it's 32, slightly warmer than 30. Good. Alyssa, you want to come up and do February? Thank you. Looks good. And I'll do our last winter month, March, 48. So I'm going to go right below the 50 because it's closer to 50 than 40. So using this bar graph helps us to see our weather data in a way that's a little bit more clearer than just looking at some numbers. It really shows us the difference in temperature between the months, and it shows us which one has the higher temperature, which one has the lower. It makes it easier to see, a little bit easier to understand. So looking at our graph and this table with our temperatures, can someone tell me how much warmer March is than December? So it looks slightly taller on the graph. So using both our table and our graph, how much warmer is March than December? Lauren?
3 degrees warmer.
3 degrees warmer, exactly. And now if I were to ask you how many degrees colder is January than February, what would you say? Leah?
3 degrees.
3 degrees colder, right. So we can see that it's colder from this graph because the bar is shorter than the bar for February, and we know exactly how many degrees because we have the temperatures given to us in our table. All right, so now that we have graphed our average temperatures for our winter months, if you guys wanted to go ice skating, and remember our lake has to be frozen when we're going ice skating, which month is the most appropriate to go ice skating, or which one would be when it would be possible? Lauren?
January, because it would be freezing.
Right, because what is January's average monthly temperature?
32 degrees.
32 degrees, and we know that water's freezing point is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So that would be the most appropriate month to go ice skating. Very good. All right, I think that concludes our lesson on graphing typical weather conditions in a certain season. So tomorrow we're going to continue working with bar graphs and also picture graphs.